Who is ready to work shoulders? Shoulders are one of my favorite workouts besides my glutes to work. Couple of reasons. I like to have rounded shoulder caps, which is like a really big thing in back when I was in the competing world for competitions for bikini. But they want to have rounded shoulder caps, which I finally understood why, and that's because it helps to bring in that waist, so you create that V shape, and it's narrowing to your waist, complementary, but then just nice. Who doesn't want nice arms as a woman, even a guy, right? So before I dive too deep into my exercises, I wanted to remind you to subscribe so that you can be notified of my latest workouts that I post. So I have a handful of exercises I'm going to do today utilizing bands, but there are alternatives if you don't have the bands to use just regular weights for this. But I just invested in these. Amazon has them for super cheap, so and they come in a 4-pack. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they all have different resistance. Right now I'm starting with the smallest one to work the back of our shoulders. So when I do workouts, I like to kind of target every part of the muscle group. So the back, in this case, this will be the side, the front, and even on the top. And that'll give us a good workout all around. So with the band, you'll grab, usually I have a little extra on the ends to create the best tension for me, and you'll find your sweet spot. So with here, you'll just keep it just right above, like collarbone, and then come back in, and then you'll pull. I'm gonna spin around a little bit so you can see how it's pulling and working that back muscle, or back shoulder, excuse me. And I just hold it there. So this guy, I will recommend 20 of those. You'll kind of fly through them pretty quickly, so make sure that you're very mindful with those movements and keeping the tension on the band. If you don't have a band, I did grab my 5-pound weights because I wanted to show you, you could get that same thing with raised lateral. Sorry, there's a bug flying around. But yeah, so here, same motion, hitting the back. So these, because weights are a little bit heavier and you'll have more resistance, I would say 12 to 15. Listen to your body always. And make sure you drop those shoulders and keep the traps from doing the work, because that will become the primary muscle focus instead of what you're really trying to target. So that is that. Set this aside. So right now we're going to come in and work with this guy. So I attached it to my TRX. If you don't have a TRX and you don't have a mount, I actually invested in one of these, which is just bolted into my 2x4. But this is an option to put a ring, and you can do it even high, or like I have here, a low. So for this, you'll grab overhand, and you kind of have to find where you're going to get your best tension in standing. So here we're working the back. So I'm going to pivot this way so you can see that arms are up and I'm pulling to the eyes or nose. So in that range and holding. So I'll pivot back this way so you can see. So here and bring in. And again, 15 on these ones. And keeping the tension, arms raised, and don't forget, as always, core tight. Big thing when you work out, you don't want to push. A lot of times we like extend the stomach out, but we're going to bring that back in. Really important. So 15 of these, and then we'll have an alternative for this guy. So bring in my 8-pound weight as an option. If you have only 5s, you can always grab and stack and have the same motion where we're pulling up on the shoulder. So this is the alternative to this. Or if you have 8 or single, it's the same thing. But, all right, so with this one kind of was like hard for me to find my best spot, but a little bit further away from the wall helped me to have a better range of motion to come in and pull. So we're bringing that up, and this is actually working the front part of the shoulder. So 15 on each side. If you're ambitious, hit 20. But again, love this. We'll turn around, flip, and do a few on this side just so you can see kind of just where I want that arm to be pretty much parallel to the shoulder, creating the best tension as possible, most resistance. So 15 on each side there. I'm going to grab my 8-pound weight, bring it back here for this part of my circuit. You can also use a kettlebell. So I have a 25-pound right here, and these will be pulling up, straight, holding. Do this one. That kettlebell. Because right now I'm only pulling up 8s. Actually, I could grab my 5s and top with 13 on these. But again, that's like the beauty of this whole thing, is getting creative. Quarantine has made me creative in a lot of ways because of course I'm at the gym. I just grabbed the 12s or the 15s, but here I am grabbing 2. So front raises, bringing them up. Again, if you find another muscle group like your traps is doing the work, remember to bring it down. Remind yourself to what muscle group you're actually working, but bringing those up parallel here. If you want to add a bonus to this one, because I always like to be creative and add another little piece to it to make it a little bit more challenging, is a raise flipping up to a press. And that's another one I like to do. When I'm at the gym, do a straight bar, and I usually do that. This is a finisher, sometimes to shoulders, because it's just going to really burn them out. So you can keep this one for the end or start it wherever you want. But again, up and press. So 15. So today's magic number pretty much is 15 on everything except for that beginning lateral band work is 20. So I got a 3-pound ball. If you don't, you can use a weight or a kettlebell for this, but it is here and press. So we're working on presses in this one as well. If you don't want to do the presses on the other one, the weights that we just did, you can do this. So making sure you're sitting back like on a chair almost, and then pop it back up. And this is gonna get your heart rate up in your circuit and working shoulders. So they call that Tabata. I don't know if you've heard of that, but Tabata is like movements that actually raise your heart rate up while doing weights. So right here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you would do the circuit 4 times and go through those. And then again, a reminder on each. This guy is going to be your fancy 20. This one is 15. Bringing them back, concentrated, and squeezing in that back too, as a reminder. Here we have this guy, which will be 15 on each arm. Just running through these really quick as a reminder what we're going through. Dropping that down, coming back here, and getting creative with this particular one. So exercise 4, I showed you a few different variations, but I'm going to stick to the challenge, the extra bonus, bringing here, here, and here. If you find that by the time you get to this it's fatigue, drop down your sets, or drop down your reps, because you're listening to your body. You'd rather have the right form than a sloppy form, which creates injury. So make sure that you're listening to your body with each one of these as you get through the circuit. That's why I start high, and even if you hit 12, you're golden, because you're actually doing them right and working. Here, we're doing 15, sit and press. And finishing that out. And And then when I do circuits like this, usually I have a tendency to add in abs at the end. So crunches, sit-ups, planks, and those are kind of like my finishers and my bonus for doing upper body. So hope you enjoyed the workout. Love to hear if you actually tried it. So make a comment. Any questions, I'm going to answer them. So I'll see you next time.